Video is again a continuation of what I have been doing a bit on interview side, and again we'll be kind of talking about very important part, which is the end of interview. So I'll just start by saying that last part is equally tricky as the first part. You might think like the interview is more or less done. The answers are with the recruiter. They have noted everything, and this would be kind of okay. Just need to close it. But no, this is really important. And if you haven't really done the interviews earlier, like kind of experience in that area, then you need to think about how to take the part forward and what to talk in that. All right, so I guess in the end, what really happens is you are left with some time, like 5-10 minutes, maybe 15 at max, and the interviewer basically kind of closes from his side. In the Big Four settings, like they always kind of a close from their side. Okay, I have taken all the notes from the questions I had, and do you have any questions from us? And now in your mind you can have different aspects like questions in terms of your role, the company, the department, the team, etc. There can be anything. So think about that ahead of the interview based on your job description, of course, and the company, the firm you are applying in. Now, it's really important the level of questions you ask, because that shows the interest, that shows what you're thinking in mind, what's your thought process, and you can kind of give a good closing impression, basically, and that would be really helpful. The questions will depend on different jobs, right? Each job will have different questions, different teams, different departments, different cities. Everything can be different. But some generic questions you can kind of improvise and yeah, ask them. Of course, there can be many more questions as well. Okay, about generic questions, of course, the number one is which is the very common and probably everybody asks already is next steps or the process onward. So like how will they be reaching out or when, etc. Just the stuff about keeping the things going on. So definitely worth asking that. Second question I would say is probably when you are doing the interviews, you might have something you wanted to ask but never got a chance, so you can ask that at the end as well. Okay, yeah, this happened in the interview, can you kind of give me a bit more about that? It can be something they talk about their team. Okay, my team does that. You might want to know a bit more about that. They can explain a bit. Very important question being progression, career, and it's really appreciated, right? If you are in interview and you ask like, if I join at, let's say, in assistant manager level, now how my progression will look like, and how does it go to manager, senior manager, the timelines involved, the requirements, etc. Kind of giving you a brief idea about that. So, and how they can support you in that the process with the help of a performance leader, a coach, or mentoring, etc. So of course they'll be guiding you on that as well, with an interview as well. And the key questions now, which has kind of come recently, of course, after COVID, is more on the flexibility provided by the firms, right? As you might know, all the firms, especially in UK, are quite flexible. Deloitte kind of are saying that okay, you work from home as much as you like, but again, if you have need to come to office, you will come, but they haven't really mandated any day to come to office. And more or less similarly, other firms like KPMG, EY, and others as well, like okay, work from home for some days, work from office for some days, etc. There's a flexibility. So definitely worth asking that. And flexibility is not only in terms of the work from home, it's more in terms of like kind of a choosing different work hours, or maybe not even choosing, just kind of being flexible in the work hours. If you can kind of not start early someday, just trying to understand what the future approach is like in terms of flexibility. Another aspect can be like working from different cities. Even if you are, like, let's say, employed by a London office, in the London office, then if can you work from other office if required? Lots of questions. And this is a developing area by the firms. Of course, the COVID happened last year. There the firms are kind of planning the next steps over the next kind of a couple of months. But worth asking this question anyways. Very important question, another being about culture of the firm and the culture of the team, basically, like how how it kind of works out within the team and as a whole firm as well in terms of diversity inclusion, because these are the hot topics right now. All the firms are really focusing on that in terms of kind of building their talent from diverse backgrounds and supporting that. So you can ask that question if you want to. Of course, like you need to present that very carefully and not really need to be kind of hard. In any case, like in the all questions, of course, you need to be very careful how you design those questions, how you ask them. From and the perspective being socials, that kind of so the point is, in the virtual world, there's a little less sense of community among the different people because you are not to office anymore on a regular basis. So you can ask like how your team is coping up with that, how about team socials, like how about departmental kind of a things. So how does that thing is ensured in the post-COVID world? You can ask that as well. So again, things that you can ask. There can be many more questions as well. I just put a few which I think are really crucial or really important, and you need to think about that. And the one thing to highlight is, of course, as I said earlier, like 10-15 minutes at max. That's the thing, I'm max, right? Because interviews keep kind of yeah, you need to you keep talking till very end. So in case you have further questions that they are not able to answer you, they might take that away with them and get back to you over email, or you they might ask you, yeah, just send the email and they'll respond back to you as well. So or maybe a little other conversation as well. It can be different circumstances depending on what questions, etc. But anything can happen. uh, After asking the question, I guess the time for closing the interview. uh, so very important thing, when you're closing the interview, you need to kind of show your interest again, like you want to do this, you are interested for that, and you have the desired required qualifications, capability as well. Just kind of creating that impression, and then of course you need to close it politely as well. I guess that's probably the closing part. You can of course research a bit more about questions in your required role, but this is generic guidance. I'll be in the next video. I'll be posting probably about some other bits and pieces of interview as well. I'm not going away from interviews for now. There are still quite important areas to be discussed. So I'll be doing that.